Viewers, as you know, it has been a very, very highly charged news day. Why? Because there has been a clamor from all quarters that India must begin to boycott Pakistan. The BCCI is going to be writing to the ICC, conveying these strong sentiments and calling upon the ICC to basically boycott any terror-sponsoring state. There are others who want to go beyond a boycott. They are saying that we must bomb Pakistan back into the Stone Ages. There are still others who are saying even that is not enough. We must in fact ensure that Pakistan ceases to exist. But there are some amongst us who are demanding dialogue, the renewal of what they say is a restrained approach to Pakistan. I have with me, in the backdrop of the drama we have witnessed all day today on the back of the BCCI meeting, Sudhindra Kulkarni, author, commentator and convener for the Forum for a New South Asia. Also with us, Maruf Raza, needs no introduction. I will only say he has been one of the long-standing consultants to Times Now and someone who knows a lot about how to address issues related to Pakistan because he is a student of Indo-Pak relations. Now I want to begin with Mr. Sudhindra Kulkarni. Mr. Sudhindra Kulkarni, you're well aware of the news, you're well aware of the developments, you're well aware of the national sentiment, at least the sentiment that is flowing through the common public sphere. I can't say if a large amount of that sentiment is shared in the higher echelons of policy-making bodies, but certainly the ordinary Indian wants justice and, as I said, wants a lot more. But you are one of those who are again calling for restraint and dialogue. And I'm asking you, are individuals like you deluding yourself about the inherent goodness of Pakistan?
Rahul Ji, I am not advocating restraint. In fact, I am advocating firmness. What Jaish-e-Mohammed has done is a crime on humanity, and most certainly it's a despicable act of terrorism targeting India. And there can be absolutely no quarter for such suicide bombings and attacks that kill either civilians or security forces. So the outrage in India is absolutely justified, and the people of Pakistan, the government of Pakistan, the army of Pakistan must know the anguish and anger in India, and evil cannot go unpunished. So therefore, I'm not an advocate of restraint, I'm an advocate of very firm action, but firm action short of war, because war is
so will you support the boycott of Pakistan in all spheres, sporting, commercial, diplomatic?
No.
Then what sort of restraint and what sort of force?
What I'm saying is that, take for example, this call to send a letter to ICC to ban Pakistan from World Cup. In the heat of this kind of charged sentiment, people are likely to make all kinds of demands without knowing the consequences. We already know that because of India's denial to visas to Pakistani athletes, the Olympic Committee has taken a very serious and negative note of India. And if we actually write a letter like this to the ICC, then ICC will come back and say that you are free to boycott. And if India does say that we will not play Pakistan, we will lose our claim to host the next World Cup in
Not necessarily, sir.
So this is just an example.
The ICC, the ICC is a body that has shown itself, unfortunately, to bow to external pressures. And I'll give you an example. The ICC is headquartered in England. And when England announced a boycott of Zimbabwe, the ICC made all the right noises, the kind of noises that you are sort of warning us of, but didn't act. So it'll weigh up at the end of the day what it is getting by sticking to principles and what it might get by indulging India's beneficence, and you know what I mean by that. But that's the separate issue. I am only saying that you have spoken to Imran Khan. You have written about it, and you said that while he expressed his own commitment to improving India-Pakistan relations, he said peace is the only option we have. After what has happened in Pulwama, do you still trust him? Do you think we can go back and speak with a man who said to you something?
You know what I'm going to say.
And exports terror and bleeds our boys.
No, we have to make a distinction between the people of Pakistan and the terror organization, the Jaish. We should also make a distinction between Imran Khan and this terrorist organization. Imran Khan certainly wants peace. He is a genuine...
Sir, he has not condemned.
No.
He has not even condemned the terror attack. He has not issued even an apology saying that, okay, we will look into it. Prima facie, we have seen those videos. It does appear that the Jaish is holed up in our country. It's in Bahawalpur. We know that.
So,
complete blanket. Who are the people of Pakistan? Define those, please.
So what Imran Khan, the Prime Minister, is guilty of, most certainly he is guilty of, and as you said, he missed a big opportunity to win goodwill of India by not
you were one
condolence.
of those. You were one of those. His answers was not comprehensive, but there was sincerity in what he said about Indo-Pak relations.
Yes,
this is what you said.
I continue to believe that.
Do you still believe, sir? My basic question is:
I continue to believe.
How can you continue to believe this, sir?
I continue to believe that he is guilty of not condemning this act, but he is not behind this terrorist act, and therefore it is the government of India, government of Pakistan, which has to bow to international opinion, and they have absolutely no option.
He is not responsible. A man who is sponsored by or who is supported, Maruf Raza supported, and we know Maulana Fazlur Rahman and others, Harkat Mujahideen, a militant group, Fazlur Rahman Khalil, people like that. PTI leader Asad Umar, who is contesting from Islamabad, this is what my research told me, met with Maulana Fazl ur Rahman Khalil in July and got his public support. These are the kind of people who have supported Imran Khan, and he believes that Imran would not have known.
See, Mr. Kulkarni is a senior citizen. I have respect for him as an individual, but not for your views, sir. And I'll tell you why. Because I think you have deluded yourself into believing certain things which a lot of people in India have been believing over the years, because that is one sort of narrative that comes out. Now let me sort of counter a few points that you've made. Point one, that Imran Khan is not behind the act. The people who have propped up Imran Khan on the chair are the people who also control these terrorist organizations. That is the military deep state of Pakistan. Now show me evidence to convince me that the military deep state of Pakistan are not the patrons of the jihadis. They are the patrons of all jihadi groups that target India, because that is an extension of their strategic arm. The second thing is, you say Imran Khan wants peace. I want to ask you a question. Does Imran Khan want his Prime Minister's chair more, or does he want peace? He wants his Prime Minister's chair. Who's going to assure him that he's going to continue to be on the chair but the military in Pakistan? You confront the military in Pakistan, at best you go to jail like Nawaz Sharif, at worst you get hanged like Zulfikar Bhutto. Third point, you're talking about commitments to the international community and the ICJ and the various other cricketing organizations. Now, at the end of the day, India provides a much bigger cricketing market and potential opportunity. Cricket is also about money. It is not just about sport. And that's why the IPL is the second biggest financial undertaking in the field of sports after American sporting events like, I think, the Super Bowl. So the fact of the matter is, I think the ICJ also knows which side of the toast they need to butter. So let's not delude ourselves again into believing that we have to do all the right things. All the right things don't make up for lives of Indians lost. You need not just condemn, but you need to take steps to ensure that Pakistan begins to feel the heat, and the heat does not come by only heat-seeking missiles. There is a lot more that has to be put on Pakistan's table to realize that you don't push around a country like India. And the reason we've got pushed around all this while, because we've had people believe that you can look at Pakistan from an Indian prism. If the Prime Minister of India says that this is going to be our narrative, as Vajpayee ji said in Kargil, don't cross the line of control, the military honors it. I would put my reputation at stake if the Prime Minister of Pakistan defines a red line which doesn't go in line with the military, and the military will honor it. The day that happens, I get out of debating.
Well, I just want to take off from where Maruf left off, sir, Mr. Kulkarni. And I want to ask you, you said we must give the people of Pakistan a chance. You did say that.
Of course.
Right now. Now, where are the Sudhindra Kulkarnis of Pakistan who are calling out Imran Khan, the ISI, the army? Can you name me any who have come out like you are on national TV saying Pakistan must introspect, Pakistan must immediately go and shut down these camps that we are harboring on our soil? Where are they?
You know, may I give you some specific names?
Please.
Because we Indians in today's atmosphere are simply not willing to even listen to sane voices from Pakistan. I'll give you an organization's name which is an organization of basically children of India and Pakistan. It's called Agaz-e-Dosti. You know, every year they bring out a calendar of peace and they conduct many activities. It's the children. What is their sentiment? Their sentiment is for peace. There are many intellectuals, journalists. You know,
can you tell me in the last 3 or 4 days? I'm asking you specific examples because I know that this same so-called liberal civil society in Pakistan was busy tweeting against the Paris terror attacks. But there are people who have come to India, who have acted in our movies, who have sung before our audiences, who have lauded Imran Khan's speeches. That for me is civil society.
You know, when you say in Imran Khan's speech, there is one aspect of Imran Khan's speech
which is laudable.
Which unites Pakistan, and for understandable reasons. He says that if India attacks, we will retaliate.
Now, I want to respond to that.
Just wait. Now, apart from that, the sentiment that if India takes one step, we'll take 2 steps for peace is something
Sir,
that
I'm agreed. I completely agree with you. But where are those? Give me those examples. Name me some of your friends who are on the other side, who you do engage with, who you say harbor a outlook towards India which is benign. Name me
I'll name
3
you.
people
Who
have tweeted in the last 3 or 4 days.
Rahul, you are a very well-known TV anchor. Just 3 days ago, I was on a show on a Pakistani television, Kamran. It's called the Kamran debate on Dunia TV. Now, when I debated with him, he was very forthcoming in saying that what has happened in Pulwama is condemnable. Now, he is also an anchor. Now, he expresses the view of many ordinary Pakistanis. Now, we don't want to listen to them. Now, let me, instead of this, I want to confront my good friend and a scholar for whom I have respect for his scholarship on military. But take the example of cricket. Cricket is not only for money, sir.
Sir, 1 second. Let me just come in here. No, my question was very pointed. Condemning an attack is very different from taking onus and responsibility for the terror that flows from your borders. There is a denial. Look, Imran Khan in generalities will condemn terror, but will he say that yes, we are responsible for what is happening in India? No. And that's where the problem
I would say,
begins.
You know, Rahul, today is a day of great victory for Indian diplomacy, because Indian diplomacy has got the United Nations Security Council to issue a unanimous statement.
But sir,
condemning
even as you
Jaish-e-Mohammed.
speak right now,
And
the UNSC is being pressured by China to delay a statement.
no, but it has already been issued.
No, to delay a statement specifically talking about the Jaish-e-Mohammed.
No, but it's already there. Jaish-e-Mohammed is
no,
included in the
about
statement.
action.
So therefore,
about action.
You know, Pakistan has to act against Jaish-e-Mohammed. Otherwise,
China
it will face
delayed
consequences.
UN Pulwama comments
Otherwise,
by
it will
5 days.
Otherwise,
I
it
need
will
to come
face
in.
consequences.
This statement that you are referring to, sir, was held up by China for 5 days. It's been 7 days since the attack.
Rahul, see, I need to come into various points the very able and distinguished Mr. Kulkarni has made, but I disagree with most of them. Firstly, let me go to the last point, Jaish-e-Mohammed. Whether the UN Security Council issues a condemnation on him or not, or the organization or not, Masood Azhar, the head of the organization, is still not being condemned either by China or by the UN Security Council or the UN General Assembly, because that's all held up because the Chinese are not letting. So how can you say that X country is a democracy but the leader of that country is not a democrat? So you can't say Jaish-e-Mohammed is a terrorist organization but Masood Azhar is a saint who's walking the streets of Pakistan. I don't buy that. Please let me complete my point.
No, but you're putting words in my mouth.
No.
I'm not saying this.
No, I'm not saying about Jaish-e-Mohammed. I'm talking about the UN resolution. Let's not get flattered by a UN Security Council resolution which is 50-50. It is not 100% resolution. And even if it is, the international community has declared Hafiz Saeed and Jamaat-ud Dawa and Lashkar-e-Toiba on the wanted list. There is even an American price on his head of $10 million. Has it made an iota of difference on Hafiz Saeed's operations and activities in Pakistan? He's even become now a political figure of reckoning.
Are you saying then that war is the option?
No, I'm not.
Then what is the option?
Then you're putting words. I'm coming to that. I am first responding to the points you've made. The third point that you've made, that this person in Pakistan has said it and that person has said it, they are the fringe, sir. The Pakistan today is filled with people on the streets, in politics and in the military establishment who have now convinced themselves the option is to keep challenging India and use terror as an extension of foreign policy. Now let me tell you, you're talking of war as an option. I know a bit more about war than perhaps you do, just like you know a lot more about track 2 dialogue than I do. But let me tell you something, sir. War is not an option that you press a button and start it and you push a button and stop it. It is an option that comes into play when you exercise a whole lot of other economic, diplomatic, strategic and even riparian options before you consider that. And even if you consider that, war is of all types. We've been fighting a war in Kashmir for 30 years. That is modern war. Modern war is all not about blowing each other up with nuclear weapons. And studies have shown that neither India nor Pakistan and its generals have even seriously contemplated using nuclear weapons under grave provocation. So war, I don't insist on.
We are on the same page on that point.
No, I don't insist on.
Let's not rule it out. No, 1 second. No one is ruling out anything. But I want to, let's, this is a very good point that has been raised. Forget about the war. The war is not something that we are even contemplating at this moment. There are hundreds of other steps that can be warlike before we even come to that stage. So let's not go there. There was a surgical strike, as you know, a few years ago, etc., etc. There are many options. But I want to come back. Fine, Mr. Kulkarni, if force is not an option, then surely dialogue is, as you have been saying. So tell me one thing. Mr. Modi, even if he were to sit across Imran Khan and show him a dossier, do you think Imran Khan is going to accept it when he owes his survival to the people who have actually patronized these proxies who are bleeding us? If he looks over his shoulder and says, I accept this is proof, do you expect him to lock up those people, sir?
Rahul.
No, I'm asking you. Now let's talk about outcomes. What will dialogue lead to? Since you constantly ask us what will force lead to.
Dialogue has to be at multiple levels,
Sir,
including.
Forget the multiple.
Including.
Let's talk about the one prime minister speaking to another prime minister.
No. It is
summit level talks with the proof.
I would say that the force of dialogue of the people
the reason I'm
is
talking
far
about
more
proof,
important.
Sir, the reason I'm talking about proof tonight is because Imran Khan has asked for it. And I don't know
Rahul,
who can deliver it to him. Perhaps in the Indian Prime Minister, in your estimation, should be delivering it to him. And if he does, do you think Imran Khan is going to act on it when several other Prime Ministers have not?
Let me tell you that short of a full-fledged war, the kind of multiple options that India is exercising is most certainly going to work on Pakistan, and Pakistan will have to act against.
But there is not dialogue, sir. There has been no dialogue.
So it's dialogue plus other options.
Why dialogue? Aren't we rewarding the same pernicious, perverse, and most importantly, sir, diabolical approach that Pakistan has adopted for years altogether?
Rahul, I just want to sort of take this dialogue thing a little further. Sir, I want to ask you, I mean, you went with Vajpayee ji also for the Lahore engagement. You have been talking about your 4 or 5 trips to Pakistan. I read about it. Fact is, I mean, dialogue's been going on for decades. Has dialogue really achieved much? Especially the track 2 dialogue that people like you propose. I want to be a bit blunt, sir. I think track 2 dialogues are the parking place for retired diplomats and generals who've run out of business otherwise. Otherwise, the fact of the matter is, it would have given us one set of ideas that we could build up on. You see, Pakistan wants to show to the world that it wants to talk to us.
May I give you one idea?
Rebuttal after this break.
One idea?
Yes, rebuttal after this break. Rebuttal after this break. Rebuttal after this break. We're taking a short break. We return. Viewers, the national environment is supercharged. As you know, there are many who are clamoring for a boycott of Pakistan at every level, including cricketing ties. The BCCI has put the ball in the ICC court and also the court of the centre. The centre will have to calibrate, weigh up the options. It is already announced that India's share of the river systems, the eastern river systems, will be now denied to Pakistan. They are exerting pressure, by which I mean the Indian government, on snapping trade links across the LOC, not the IBS as far as we know as of now. But there are many more measures, including rallying the international community to even bring sanctions and switch off the funding tap to Pakistan. But there are others who are saying dialogue is the only way forward. And I'm asking those individuals, when dialogue has failed for 70 years, why will it succeed now against Imran Khan? Mr. Kulkarni, you have the floor.
My counter question is, has war solved any problem? We've had 4 wars, very destructive wars. Have they taken us any closer to a lasting solution on the Kashmir issue or reconciliation between India and Pakistan? As against this, see what dialogue, concerted dialogue, consistent dialogue did produce. It took us closer to a solution. Of course, we did not see a solution. Let me give you 2 examples. Vajpayee ji and Musharraf, Vajpayee ji and Nawaz Sharif, very honest dialogue between 2 leaders, which was continued by Musharraf and Dr. Manmohan Singh. And ultimately, we had some kind of a framework for resolving the Kashmir issue, not 100% acceptable to both, but a significant headway was made through dialogue. And had the 2 leaders persevered with this effort, I'm sure they would have found a solution. I worked with Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. After 2004 elections, he once told me that had I got one more term, I would have solved the Kashmir issue. That was his confidence. We need statesmen like Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. Let me give, since cricket came into
can I counter you on the
Just
statesman question?
One point.
Yeah.
Since, we also are discussing cricket. Do you know that in 1999, in the midst of Kargil war, India and Pakistan played cricket in World Cup? Who was the Prime Minister? Vajpayee ji.
Before
was
you come in,
Vajpayee
sir,
ji less patriotic than Modi?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Statesmanship you
Sure.
talked about. Would you not agree, sir? Against the grain, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inviting the heads of all SAARC nations to his swearing-in ceremony and picking up the dialogue baton and running with it for 2 years. In fact, against public opinion, landing up in Raiwind, which is the house of Nawaz Sharif, and gifting his mother a shawl, was statesmanship. Would you not agree? Would you not agree, sir, that the foreign secretaries who had been invited from Pakistan August 2014, soon after the swearing-in of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who incidentally was also conferred a peace prize today by the South Korean government, was behaving in a statesman-like manner? What did the Pakistani dignitary do? He went first and met the Hurriyat, the separatists. So statesmanship was displayed, sir, and given time, 2.5 years.
Rahul,
I disagree.
Rahul, can I please come in? Again, I'm responding to the points Mr. Kulkarni has made. Before I go any further, your last point was about cricket. And you earlier also made a reference to the fact that I think cricket is only about money. I didn't say that. What I said is cricket is also about big money, and therefore the financial benefits that can accrue to any organization that organizes big cricketing events is also behind their mind when they take a decision about who to boycott and not to boycott. But let me get on to more important things than cricket, because I think cricket is given too much importance. The issue is about, can wars solve any problem? Have they? We had the opportunity after 71 war, when we had 93,000 or more prisoners of war. We had the Pakistan army, which had happily sidestepped for Bhutto to take charge of the situation. Unfortunately, Mrs. Gandhi trusted a man whose entire career was built up on anti-Indianism. Bhutto was a compulsive liar and a cheat. I don't say it. There are enough documents to prove that. And when he told Mrs. Gandhi on the solution of the LOC becoming a border, first it was CFL, then to become LOC and a border, भरोसा कीजिए, उन्होंने भरोसा किया था, लेकिन that भरोसा was not lived up to by Bhutto. So the fact of the matter is,
भरोसा तो Prime Minister Narendra Modi ने भी किया था.
So what
in fact, 2 years later, July 2016, the two Prime Ministers, Narendra Modi, Nawaz Sharif, met in Ufa, Russia, where they also charted a roadmap for bilateral talks.
No, absolutely.
That is how far we went.
No, we went
in our good faith.
All those initiatives, or in fact, why did Nawaz Sharif, I mean, they've got all kind of financial allegations against him, but find me somebody in Pakistan's elite who is not as deeply sunk into the markets of Dubai and London.
Let me point, what did Ufa yield? It yielded the promise of a meeting in New Delhi between two NSAs to discuss all issues connected to terrorism. And what does Pakistan constantly tell us? That Kashmir is the core issue which breeds this terrorism. So that is what I'm just pointing out, and then you can come in. Early meetings of DG BSF and DG Pakistan Rangers, followed by that of DGMOs. Decision for release of fishermen in each other's custody along with their boats within a period of 15 days. Mechanism for facilitating religious tourism to build confidence between people. Both sides agreed to discuss ways and means to expedite the Mumbai case trial, including additional information like providing voice samples, etc., etc. Then followed the stopover, which we know was significant. So I'm confused. He said this is not statesmanship.
Okay, Rahul, can I
sir,
Mr. Kulkarni, sir,
let me just one
no. Wait one second, please.
These are good gestures, but not statesmanship.
Okay, sir, statesmanship, inviting a man who you had been basically railing against 3 months prior to your election, swallowing your own pride, your narrative, sending out an invite, inviting him for his oath taking, seems to suggest that Mr. Modi demonstrated, sir, the ability to rise above politics and embrace the language of diplomacy, sir. Would you not agree?
Narendra Modi ji took some very good welcome steps, but he was very inconsistent. He took one step forward and retraced it. He was never consistent in the need for dialogue with Pakistan at various, for example, after Imran Khan became Prime Minister, before Pulwama happened, were there not opportunities for India and Pakistan to engage each other? Were those opportunities taken? Instead, we have Hurriyat, we have made small issues as pretexts for not going ahead with dialogue, even though none other than Vajpayee ji had dialogue with Hurriyat. What's wrong in having dialogue with all the stakeholders? Hurriyat is also a stakeholder.
No, ऐसा कुलकर्णी साहब, आपकी ही कॉलोनी के अंदर जो दिन रात आपके ऊपर पत्थर फेंके, आपको बुरा बोले, आप उसके साथ बैठ के भी चाय पिए, तो वो आपकी चॉइस है. But I don't think we as a people in India and our elected government should be imposed that choice on us. There is a limit to which you can bend backwards. And let me tell you, let me respond more seriously to 3 points you've raised. One is about Vajpayee saying, if I had another tenure, I could have solved the Kashmir issue. Let me tell you, sir, you cannot solve the Kashmir issue for 2 reasons. One is, unless there are political heavyweights in Delhi, in Pakistan and in Srinagar, all of whom are willing to make concessions and survive politically. Second thing is that Vajpayee saying I would have solved the Kashmir issue, with respects to the great man who's passed away, you solve the Kashmir issue, what do you give to Pakistan to keep it together? It will fall apart as a state. Islam doesn't keep it together. Wah Musalman ko marta hai. Pakistanis are killing East Pakistanis. Pakistanis are killing Shias today. They're killing Baluchis and Baltis. So let's not delude ourselves into believing you'll solve the Kashmir issue. Kashmir is the bonding adhesive that keeps Pakistan together. Otherwise, would you have a Pakistan that falls apart? And then people like you would argue a stable Pakistan is an our benefit. But how do you give stability to a state which has not defined its ideological contours? And finally, and most importantly, let me tell you about war and about peace. I was making that point about the 71 war and the aftermath of that. We failed to capitalize on a military victory because we failed to judge Pakistan's intentions and to understand the country despite betrayal in 65, despite betrayal in 71, and despite betrayal repeatedly thereafter. Modi साहब ने तो पठानकोट के लोगों को investigation के लिए बुलाया था. They come back and say there is no evidence. You give them dossiers on 26/11, they say there is no evidence. I mean, क्या खुदा के यहाँ से उनको पैगाम आएगा? Where is the evidence? How much more evidence do you want? They do not want to abandon their terror mechanism. They do not want to solve the issues because the Pakistan military has an economic agenda linked to conveying that India is the enemy and eating off the Pakistani state's scant resources.
Response, sir.
Sure. We are on the same page as far as Pakistan's dishonesty in confronting terrorism. Time and again, the deep state in Pakistan has come in the way of a sincere, meaningful dialogue between India and Pakistan. It has happened in the case of Nawaz Sharif. Nawaz Sharif had to ultimately own up the fact that Pakistan was behind 26/11.
But it's the deep state that runs it.
Therefore, now what is it that can confront the deep state? It is the people and the political establishment of Pakistan.
No.
You have to give them some other answer.
I'll give you. I'll give you.
Confront the deep state and also defeat it in a non-war situation.
I'll give you.
War is a different matter.
I'll give you.
So therefore, it is in our interest that we find a solution to the core of the problem, that is Kashmir. Let's not delude ourselves. Kashmir has preceded even the advent of terrorism between India and Pakistan. Between 47 and 77, there was no terrorism. Yet, Kashmir was a problem. So Kashmir is a problem that we both have inherited since 1947. We have to find a lasting solution, and I am 100% in agreement with you that both sides have to make compromises, and the leadership then has to take the people into confidence on the compromises needed for a lasting solution, which is in the good interest of India and Pakistan. You know, our Prime Minister talks about New India. Imran Khan talks about Naya Pakistan. Now, can New India, Naya Pakistan ever become real unless we solve the Kashmir problem?
Can I respond?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Respond.
Firstly, the thing is about what do you do with the Pakistani military to put pressure on them short of war? Every Pakistani general has three interests. One is of real estate in Pakistan. Two, of ensuring that his family members in America enjoy all kind of benefits from education to health to whatever else. And three, post-retirement, look for a bigger role like Rahul Sharif managed to get for himself, but many others haven't. So they, like our bureaucrats, want to be in business for eternity, right? Kashmir, India, anti-Indianism keeps them in business. The one way to cut off their tap of interest is to get America to tell them that, boss, Pakistani generals will not get all the benefits that they and their family are enjoying in America because they have slept with the Americans for so long in the same bed. And it's not today. They've been in-out relationship, but even Bush and Obama made noises which are pro-India, visited India, but their administration was still very sympathetic to the generals. Second thing, Kashmir. The Kashmir issue has many dimensions. You understand, I understand. And I have also studied and written about it extensively. I'm still writing about it. But the fact of the matter is that for resolving the Kashmir problem, only Pakistan doesn't have the keys to the issue. We have to first address the grievances of the Kashmir people. And Pakistan doesn't need to tell us how to address the grievances of our own people. Which we don't understand. We repeatedly appoint interlocutors to tell us what we have known for 70 years.
Which means that we also have to introspect?
Yes. No. One second.
Very good.
Having done that. Of course. No. One second. I need to come in here. You see, there is an intractability also that has been built into this Kashmir equation. And that intractability comes today, sir, from the ideological fount of the problem in Kashmir. I think we have forgotten. The goalpost ideologically has shifted in Kashmir. It was once upon a time about alienation, real alienation. Today, there is a factor, and that is religion. And that ties in with what you were saying, Maruf Raza, about the glue that makes the Pakistani state bond together. Now, how do we address that? That is the Gordian knot. It's a difference in philosophies.
It's a very good question that you have raised.
Let me just complete, Rahul, my point about Kashmir. You see, the fact of the matter is the clock could have stopped anywhere. It could have stopped in Punjab at independence. It could have stopped elsewhere. It could have stopped in Bengal. It stopped at Kashmir because Pakistan also saw many advantages that accrued from Kashmir. Unfortunately, Pakistan has always projected its narrative on Kashmir as a Muslim narrative because the state was founded on ideological reasons, whereas we were founded as a secular entity. Their interest in Kashmir is the waters of Kashmir. We have already addressed that by giving them 80% of the water. फिर भी वो कहते हैं, in track 2 and other initiatives, they would have told you कि साहब भारत हमारा पानी क्यों पूरा ले जाता है. अरे साहब 100% भी देंगे, फिर भी कहेंगे कि एक दूसरी दरिया पैदा करो हमारे लिए. So let us not say you cannot satisfy a state whose leaders have not built up ideological and intelligent pillars on which the state can bank on. You cannot live on hatred.
Well, a quick response from you, sir, before I wrap this up on this point that we've just come to.
You are, Rahul, I am in agreement on this point that the glue to Pakistan cannot be religion. Unfortunately, after 1947, much against the wishes of Jinnah, the subsequent rulers of Pakistan, they embraced religion as the defining element of Pakistani nationhood. This is not what Jinnah wanted. If you read his August 11, 1947 speech at the opening session of the Pakistan Constituent Assembly, it is as secular as we would like it to be.
But that
But
speech, but that
things
speech has-
changed.
But that
But
speech
things changed.
is now not traceable.
Yeah,
it
but-
has disappeared.
No, but point is that subsequently Pakistan went on a wrong path, and after Zia's Islamization, it got worse. And many of the problems that we see, extremism, terrorism, are a result of this 30 years of Islamization.
Well-
now Pakistan has to reverse and take care of its own minorities,
Well, sir,
take care of the fact that
the problem,
tolerance
sir,
and
then
equal
let's be
citizenship-
honest about one thing. The problem lies firstly with Pakistan. Let's be honest. Let them sort it themselves out.
No,
Whether it will happen
it is-
through
of course
a
they have to sort out
combination
the
of
problem.
sanctions.
But even India
or-
should not go the way of Hindutva, which is the mirror image of what Pakistan is doing.
Sir, please, there are
We are
till there are
discussing-
individuals like you, till there are individuals like Maroof, who confront the fringe in this country, that is not going to happen. The problem is that the civil society that you have such faith on in Pakistan is no longer either in a capacity to or is unwilling to confront the fringe, which is now becoming the mainstream in Pakistan. And that is where the problem lies. Now, look, this is a very long dialogue, and we can continue in circles. I have to take a short break. It has been informed discussion. The jury is still out. Dialogue or force? You heard both sides.
I would say the fourth.